G'day, Ronny Dahl from Four Wheeling Australia. How you going? We're here with another episode of Modified, special one. We just need to get the owner of this rig to pop out.
Hey, Sam here, built not bought. Classic. Nice to meet you, dude.
Modified, this beast. Tell us what's in it. Just give us the specs on it.
Yeah, so, well, the car is a 2008 GU coil cab Patrol. So it's a coil from factory and pretty much nothing standard on it from there on.
Everything's changed.
Yeah, so it's done the conversion and all sorts, and it's set up for touring. I've had a wagon Patrol before, so I sort of learnt a lot of stuff from that, and this is just a fresh build for me, and it's pretty much my ultimate rig. I've done it, you know, right from day dot. It's got the manual gearbox in it, and that's probably the only standard thing in it, so it's still got the Nissan manual.
And what motor we got in it?
So it's the 6-litre LS motor, so it's an LS, or L98. So it hasn't been stroked or anything, but it's had a lot of internal work, so we'll get into that. Supercharged as well, so that's the other thing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Can't wait for that.
Yeah.
There's a lot to go through here, so I reckon we just dive straight into it.
No worries. The bar is essentially a Nissan bar, but it's the winch compatible one. So it's factory in that sense, and it was on the car when I got it, and all I've done is sort of dressed it up a bit. So I've gone for a black on the top half just to try and break it up, so it has the white, black in the center, just for aesthetics. That's all that's really been done. I've added these lights as well, so indicators are gone in the bar, so they're just a new Nava light. Number plates flipped up here, put that on there.
That's for going through water?
Going through water, because I had some come off before, so that helps it with water, and also access into this, because we've got winch stuff going on in there as well.
Okay. Or you need to go through the top bit, or?
On this side, it's where you put in the controller.
Ah.
So yeah, and then through the bottom is where you get the clutch on that side there, so to disengage it.
What size winch we got in here, and what is it?
It's just the 12,000. It's a good old Dominator. Had it in there for a while, and it's still in there, so until I can afford a Warn one day, that's what I'm running.
How many times have you pulled yourself out?
How many times? In this car, I haven't yet, actually.
Yeah?
So I haven't got that bogged. So it's always been a snatch recovery, but yeah, one day I'll need it and it'll be there.
Yeah, that's it.
So
insurance.
That's it.
You've used it on other people though, yeah?
I have, yeah.
Mainly on Nissans though, eh? No Toyotas.
Nah, it's all Toyotas. Nissans don't get stuck.
Okay. I see a challenge coming on here.
That's it.
Recovery points, these road safe ones?
Yeah, they're the standard ones there I put on, so they're all designed for the patrols. Coming underneath the actual bull bar, there's a bash plate covering the winch housing, so it stops mud and stuff going in there. And then it runs back to, there's a little rubber cover for the radiator, but then from there on, it's just all open for the diff.
And what's with the Allen?
People ask me about it, but it's literally, I'll tell you what, it's a stainless steel Allen key, plasti dip paint on it, and then a wing nut on the back, and I just drilled a whole lot. The way I started, I actually used the texter and just drew dots, and it was the same effect. Stood back, looked at it, went, yeah, that looks pretty tough, and then put all the Allen keys in there.
Fair enough.
There's a couple of Steves in the mix, but generally all Allens.
No, it's Steve. No scrub bars, no side steps?
No scrub bars or side steps. It was on the list of things to do, but I haven't done it because it's just, I think it looks good the way it is. I didn't want it getting too front heavy. There's a lot going on already, so yeah.
And they're pretty wide, the Patrols.
Yeah, that's it. Like it's got a nice stance the way it is.
Single cab, you wouldn't really need a side step really anyway.
Nah.
For protection, it'd just be getting in and out.
It's pretty good until I hit a sill. I'll probably cry and then put one on. But for now, yeah, for now it's pretty sweet the way it is. So.
Whoa, g'day, we're at the back of the car now. Ooh, so we're talking about the tray, not what's inside, just the outside.
Yep.
We'll go with how you mounted your tyres here.
Yeah.
But actually, we look at the mounts on the inside because I know there's something going on there.
Yeah, it's all internal. So,
but you carry 2 spares.
and they're 35, so it's built to fit them. So the tray was one of the first things I did to it. So got the ute home, had a huge steel tray on it. So this I built in the shed at home. And guys that do know me with the channel and the build series, this was sort of the first thing that wasn't on the channel. So I built this, and then from then on things started getting filmed. Knocked it up, and I've gone for an aluminium bed. So it's a steel frame for strength, and the aluminium bed keeps the weight down. And then, yeah, I really wanted one of these integrated drawers in here. So this is where I keep a lot of my gear. And the whole idea and the whole design of this truck is to keep the weight down low and central. So it's all built around that.
Okay, so you have been weight conscious from the beginning, then?
Yeah, it's all about keeping it down low.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's the problem I'm struggling with at the moment. So, well, we just conveniently have the camera here, so let's open up the door.
All right, inside the secret drawer. So it's really just recovery gear, tools, spare parts, bits and pieces. So being the LS motor, serpentine belt, because they always break, and guys that know these engines, if you lose that belt, you lose power steering, alternator, the whole lot. So keep a spare one of them. And then it's just bits and pieces, quick access cable ties, tyre puncture repair kit. Got the axe. This is a bag of just tie downs and straps and stuff. This Stanley toolkit, a really cool kit. It's actually got, open it because it's just one easy, convenient box, and it just has every tool you can imagine, full socket set, spanners and everything, Allen keys, screwdrivers. So
nice.
I literally don't take any other toolkit but this one, and it can pull the whole car apart.
Your mid-price tools, you don't really care if they get a bit
they're strong enough. Like you won't crack a socket or anything, but I just like how compact it is. So it clips in there and it always stays with me.
Nice.
And then just an assortment of straps, extension straps, recovery snatch straps, gloves, D shackles, 10 pegs. So I've got ones for sand and ones for the dirt as well, just in the bag here.
Yep.
So, and then a good old hammer, bright orange so I don't lose it in the sand.
That's all good. I forgot to mention, they always come.
They do, they always come.
Usually from the other way.
And it's a Friday, we shouldn't be at work.
Early weekend.
Only people do, the one thing they question is, oh, what if you're bogged somewhere and you need a snatch strap? If I'm not going in somewhere hard, what I'll do is I'll hook up a snatch strap to my D-shackle and just drop it in this bag here and set it up there so it can be pulled straight out. But other than that, it can just, this is where it lives. And this thing.
Yeah, what is that for?
It's very random, there's a little, believe it or not, I had a mate with me and he wanted somewhere to tie his swag to. So that's why that's there. So we tied the swag. And we also threw another bag up there, and it kind of was there to just put a strap over and hook back to. We left these mounting points here. So the canopy is jack off. I have got legs that lift the whole thing up, and I've got a tray back, and I can just slide doors on and fold it up. So I've got a ute. So that's why that's there.
Max Track's in a good spot.
And the reason they're sideways, two things, so you don't cover your lights, and also the awning wraps right around and it hits. So keeping it like that means it will clear.
Okay.
And yeah, I can just grab them quick as well. So these mud guards, I wanted to make them up, but On Track Fabrication had an old set laying around, a customer that didn't pick them up, so I whacked them on and modified them a little bit, but I've built it so they step out slightly to just sit flush with the tyre, so it's all along, and it helps protect things as well, scrubbing up against stuff. It's not going to come and chop all my lights off from that.
Steel?
Yeah, it's steel, powder coated. I've made my own mud flaps as well, Build Not Bought logo in there.
Did I stick it on or?
No, I've got a mate who's a belt splicer up in the mines, so he etched them in for me, and yeah.
Nice.
Little thing on there. Toolbox on the other side, it's just got all my air compressor and stuff in there. There's an air tank, it's got the valves and stuff to run the airbags. It's also got an outlet for doing your tyres and for using air tools and stuff, and it all sits in there.
How much fuel do you hold?
So it's just standard at the moment. So they do I think it's a 90 and a 75 litre. Because it's a ute, they have a larger sub than the standard patrols, which are a 35, I think. So yeah, I got a 75 and a 90, which is plenty. It gets me about 1,000 kilometres range. Doesn't sound like a lot, but with the motor and the power it's got, it gets me that far.
Might want to be careful you lend your car too.
Yeah.
Diesel.
That's a funny story behind that. I did one of my trips that I filmed was through Karajini, and the key I had, because I've changed the dash, which we'll get to, it had a different key and it worked for ages, but then the corrugations must have made all the internals of the lock fall in, and I couldn't get the thing open, so I snapped it off, and the only shop around there had a diesel one, so I hacked that on there, but it is petrol, so got to be careful.
I can fix that for you. Roof rack?
There is no roof rack, but we've got a tent up there.
Top of canopy, whatever?
Yeah, it's really awesome. It's an alley cab. I got it from Quick Pitch. I'll pop it open, super easy. It's actually one of my favourite things on this truck.
I know those pretty well.
Yeah, so the gas struts, just pop it open. And you did say roof rack, and it can sort of still run things on top of that. So you see I've got solar up there, but I can put a canoe up there, tie it down, and still get in the tent without taking it off. It'll push up with it, so they're really good for that. So
I like how you got the solar panel on it. When you park up for camp, you would...
Yeah, I do. I angle it normally for the morning actually, because the battery, when you park up, it's charged, right? So
Yeah, true.
I angle it so in the morning when the battery's like depleted overnight, it gets that morning rise and starts charging before we hit the road. So yeah, and it's a perfect angle for it.
That's a good way of looking at it, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. I rarely get to use my solar panel. But...
Yeah. No, it's good up there. So it's 140 watt, I think. So it runs straight into the BCDC and takes care of the canopy battery.
Do you close this with all your bedding in there?
Yeah, so everything's in there. I've actually added in a soft top as well. So like the egg carton topper. So that's for comfort. Pillows, sleeping bag, all that can go in there and it will still shut. So yeah, they leave a bit of room in there.
The shiny things?
Lights.
Lights.
Behind the covers.
Yeah. So Steedies.
Yeah, Steady over in Melbourne. So I've got the full Steady suite on here. So yeah, on the bull bar, there's the 8.5. So
LEDs.
8.5 inch LEDs. Got these little side kickers. There's 6-inch bars on the edges just to light up the side. And then these are just for looks really down the bottom. They're not wired up yet, but just little square white ones down on the bar there.
Okay. Do you think they might fill the gap in, or do you have a gap?
Nah, I don't notice it.
Still battling with your cover, yeah?
Got to go bottom first. Get the bottom in there and then pop the top. There's definitely a technique to it. Stand by. Got it.
We're good.
Didn't sound like it clicked. There we go.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. I'll pick it up for you on the highway.
Yeah, so they're on the bull bar. Headlights, I get asked about them all the time. I'm planning to do a video on them, but I actually put them together. It's a kit you can buy overseas, and then it's just the halos on there that go into the factory housing. And once it's all pulled apart, just sprayed some 2-pat black in there, and then the clear covers and wired it all up. I've put LEDs in now. I used to have HIDs, I've gone LED just to simplify the wiring harness.
Got a light bar up there as well?
Yeah, light bar up there, so that's Steady's twin light bar. I think it's a 52-inch.
That's a big one, eh?
Yeah, it's awesome, eh? Like, and I've played with it because I can disconnect that one because it's wired in through the canopy. So I can just run these ones and then you whack that on and it just lights it up like nothing. So, and people say white bonnet, you get reflection, but I don't notice any of that. I think it's because it's sat back a bit, yeah. So that's really good.
Do you use that on the highway?
Yeah, I would, because these covers stay on. So if the canopy's on, I kind of just use that as my light on the highway.
Is that because you can't be bothered popping these off?
Yeah, just the idea with these is if the canopy's off and I'm running it as a ute, I can have spotlights there.
Okay.
But I like to just get the covers on.
Oh, of course. Now I get it, because it's attached to the canopy.
Yeah.
Right. Makes sense.
Yeah. So that whole, I'll show you the plugs later on, but yeah, unplug it and then all the lights are wired into that canopy.
Light bar on the back for your reverse light.
Yep. So
does it come on in reverse, or do you have a switch for it?
It's just a switch. Yeah. So I've had that light for ages, just an eBay one, that one, but just how slim it was, it just sat perfectly there, and yeah, it tucks in underneath the exhaust, and it's on a switch, so if I need to reverse, I can turn that on.
That sounds weird. A light under the exhaust.
Yeah.
Sounds weird when you don't look at it.
Yeah, nah, the exhaust sit up high.
Your lights on the sides?
I've got some truck lights down the tray and stuff, but I haven't got any side lights in at the moment. I did on the tray up top, but as soon as that tent went on there, I had to take them off.
Final question with lights. Comparative, do you prefer these over the light bar, or other way around?
I prefer the light bar, yeah. Because these aren't like a really pencil beam, they don't go super far. So to be honest, it has quite a good spread, which is nice, but that's just, there's so much light on that thing, it's ridiculous.
Okay, and let's not forget you have upgraded your
headlights. Yeah. And then tail lights, I get asked about them as well, but they're an eBay special. They're just sort of a smoked black round light to go on the tray there.
Okay.
So there's twin on each side, and they both indicate, they both have brakes, tails and all that involved.
Comms, I don't see any antennas.
No, so don't really like them on the front, and spewing because it snapped off just the other day, but I do have I think it's a 3 dB, so I don't use a 6, I use a 3. Is it a 3? Yeah, it's 3. Yeah, And people
Ask the audience.
Yeah, ask the audience. I'm pretty sure it's the 3. So, and it's really short. It's a nice little stubby thing. And I was on the highway, going down the Nullarbor when I did my trip, and I was talking to the last car. He was a good 10 k's back and got him clear as a bell.
Because you're on the roof.
Yeah, and because it just sticks right up above everything. Yeah, but when you're in mountainous range, like it's got that spread because it's a lower dB. Yeah. So I haven't even gone for. I used to have a switch on my old car, switching between the 2. I had a big 6 and then the little 3, and I just always went back to the 3. So that's why I've stayed.
And also, you'll find that you lose 1 dB if you have the coaxial switch.
Oh, okay, yeah, right, yep.
Yeah, you lose gain on it.
Yeah, it ended up breaking, and I ended up just going hardwired anyway. So it's a bit of an experiment, but.
This looks freshly painted, mate.
Yep. 2 days old. I still got to do the sand and final buff on it, but just got it redone.
Okay.
And people ask me why I've done it, and well, if they know me and my history, it's the whole theme of the car. I come from sort of an old school muscle car background, and this was big back in the 70s with the old V8s, and I just like it. So my car, I'll do what I want and put it on there, and it is for a purpose. The hole's still in there from the old grill, and it helps extract the heat out the back, and just fattens up the look, I think.
Nice, I like it.
Yeah.
That looks cool.
And the whole car's been painted as well. Like if you get the sun on it right, there's actually a blue pearl in the clear coat, and it has a speck, so it's kind of metallic-y.
So before we open this up, custom snorkel.
Yep. So it's a 4-inch stainless, powder coated, by my friend from Axis Fabrication down in Bunbury. He put that on there, and toying with the idea of doing a second one, but it's up for debate with me and the public, what we're gonna do. So I haven't decided on that, but yeah, the single one's on there at the moment.
4-inch in, twin exhaust out.
Yeah.
What was the exhaust?
So the exhaust it's got advanced headers, so they're just a kit designed for these conversions. And then I got it custom made from there back, and it's full stainless system, 3.5 inch, and then it goes to 2 3-inch, that dump behind the light bar there that we spoke about earlier.
That'll still be plenty because you got twin.
Yeah, so it sounds awesome. The whole idea, I didn't want it to sound like a Commodore, so the fact that it goes to a single and then breaks out, it gives it its own note. So it sounds quite good.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, good thing not to make it sound like a Commodore.
Yeah, no, it doesn't have that slap.
Let's pop it open.
The 6 litre.
That airbox, it looks quite small.
It is small, and next time I get it tuned, we're going to do an experiment, especially when we're considering a second snorkel, taking that cover off and just seeing if it affects it. But the tune that's been done so far, and the guy that dynoed it said it didn't affect it too much. Because it's not turbo, it doesn't need a huge volume of air. The superchargers compress within a small kind of distance, so it doesn't suck like a turbo would, but it gets enough in there for now, so I don't think it's hurting it too much. But it is small considering, yeah.
How easy is it to put an LS into a Patrol? Because a lot of people do it.
Yeah.
In the 80s and the GUs and
the fact that a lot of people do it means there's a lot of businesses and companies out there that provide a lot of conversion parts for them. Like you could put one of these in fairly easy in your backyard, I reckon. Like once you've got all the components you need, and they've even taken it right down to wiring harnesses. There's guys out there that do a kit that literally plug into a Patrol harness, and you can do it all from there.
Yeah, right.
But I did a lot of it myself. I made my own harness and a few brackets and pieces and stuff here. So I really just used their bell housing and engine mounts to get it sitting right. And from there, it was just all customizing stuff to fit. I guess for the people who are interested, I'll just quickly rattle off what it's got. So like the whole block was machined by the machine shop, but then when it came back to me, internals, I've just gone HBN rods, forged pistons. So they're CP Corello 13cc dish piston. The reason I've done that is to lower the static compression ratio. So that means I can run more boost and I don't risk blowing pistons and stuff like that. The whole rotating assembly was balanced. It's got 10 thou ground on the crank and tri-metal bearings in there. Then coming up from there, it's got Harrop's blower, so I've gone with their cam. It's a HO2 cam to match the supercharger, and that supercharger is a 2300 FDFI, so that's a 2.3 litre of air capacity. New ported heads, so they're Higgins Racing heads. They've been ported and flowed to get a bit more power out of them. Stainless steel valves, double valve springs. Got new trunnion kits on the rockers there. Bigger injectors that came with the Harrop kit. And then I've gone a 10% larger crank pulley to get more boost, and I've already gone their smallest pulley on top. So I'm really trying to get the most boost I can out of it. It's around about 12 PSI. The initial tune was 430 horsepower, but going in for another one soon to really, you know, bring the most out of it. Because I tuned it just to be safe, you know. I just built the thing, had a trip coming up, and I kind of took it to the limit and then dialed it back a bit. But now I really want to see what I can get out of it, because I know that the engine's properly bedded in now, and go from there. Yeah.
You've changed your cooling system as well.
Yep.
Which is a necessity when you
It's
drop this
not,
in? Or?
It's not a necessity in a way. Guys do run the patrol radiators just fine, but I had experience with the first one that I built, the wagon, which had an LS1 in it. And I was going on a trip up to Cape York, and I had issues with the radiators cracking because I had an alloy in there. They were cheap ones. And I just wanted that larger volume because you know, let's be honest, I drive them pretty hard. And I just didn't want it to get hot. In Australia, out in the desert and stuff, it gets very hot. So the Adrad is the aluminium style, but a high quality one.
Okay.
So they're quite expensive, but it's a 56 mil and it's got twin 16-inch thermo fans. So they're Spall fans.
Yeah.
And the way I've wired it up is on a 3-way switch, so I can let the ECU take control, and then leave them on if I'm just going through the dunes, and switch them off completely for water crossings, so you don't cut your blades. Smart. Yeah.
So if you're doing like a beach run, you just leave them on.
Yeah, and the thermostat takes care of the rest, but it will just keep it cool, and it does stay cool. It never gets hot.
So if you didn't get all that, just rewind 5 minutes and get your notepad out.
Yeah.
Well, that's the beauty. You can rewind as many times as you like.
That's it.
And there's heaps more info on your channel as well.
Yeah, that's it. The whole build.
And...
I think it's 20 episodes of the Built Not Bought series, and it goes through, you know, from the chassis work, suspension, an episode on engine, an episode on conversion, episode on wiring. So it's all broken down to really, you know, teach guys how they can do it and what's involved.
Right, my head's spinning from all that mechanical stuff. Let's go to electrical.
Yeah.
So you've done your own fuse panel over here. You've done all your own electrical work then?
Yeah, so I'm real big on sort of cleanliness, even though it's a bit of a mess. But when the old engine came out, I just gutted the thing. Anything that wasn't essential came out. So it was just the raw harness. And from there, I've built up the electrical system to suit what I'm doing. So I built the battery box, put a second battery in here through the red arc isolator. So that's all linked up. And then what I've done is anything in the engine bay that needs power is sort of fused where you are. So I've added in that fuse box.
These batteries, that's the main?
Yeah, that's the main starter, and this is just a yellow top auxiliary. So when the canopy's off, it runs auxiliary things.
So you got a third battery then?
Yep, third battery in the canopy.
Does that run your driving lights then, or?
No, driving lights are off that one.
Okay, so what runs off that one?
This runs back into the panel that's in the car, which I'll show you later, but it's got all my relays and stuff in there to run things like lockers, the signals for the lights, a lot of the gauges and stuff like that.
Okay, righto.
So awesome. If anyone wants to do this, I'd recommend it.
Yeah, I highly recommend it too.
Because if you're in the bush, you can see in your engine bay, and because it's the whole way around, you don't get shadows.
Yeah.
So if you've got a light here and trying to work, you can't see what's going on, but because it's the whole way, it just lights up everything. So.
Especially if you have a patrol running a Holden motor.
Yeah, you're always in here. You're always in here fixing stuff. Yeah, just breathers here. So Harrop got their own breather kit, which I run back into the airbox, and then got, I think it's gearbox, transfer case, front and rear diff. I know they've got LSDs in the back, but I just like to be twin locks all the way around, and depending on what you're doing, you can still whack the rear locker in.
I guess it's a cost thing. If you can only afford one locker,
yeah, definitely go
for
front.
A patrol,
yeah.
you'll go front.
Yeah.
But any other car, I'd go rear.
Oh, really? Yeah, right.
Yeah.
They're really good LSDs in patrols, though. They're quite tight.
Yeah, so I'll keep seeing. Welcome to the underbelly of the patrol. We'll start with a suspension so we can get out and talk about the tyres, because this is a little bit uncomfortable.
Many ants under here.
Yeah. Right, there's a lot going on here. I want to cover driveline as well.
Yep.
Let's start with driveline. You've strengthened your diff so I can see.
Yeah, front and rear strengthened, so Superior's diff brace kit on front and rear. Pumpkin bash plates on both of them as well. And sort of an afterthought, but it's definitely probably saved me a few times jumping it through the air and stuff.
As you do.
So front end, it's all got strengthened tie rod, drag link, the radius arms. They're just the Superflex radius arms. The rear's all upper adjustable control arms, lowers are +10 fixed, and then front and rear both adjustable panhards to get all that lined up.
You got quick disconnects on your
Yeah,
sway
disconnects
bars?
on sway bars, extended links on them too.
Front and rear?
Yep, both disconnectors.
Okay. How much difference does it make for you when you disconnect them?
Not a lot at the moment because the actual sway bars themselves are still standard.
Okay.
So they're, for the weight it's pushing, it still gets quite a bit of rock. So I actually never disconnect them because I'm not about flex anyway. That's why I got twin locked. So it's all about lifting wheels and locking them up. So
Okay. You got pretty good flex in these anyway.
yeah, that's it. I don't feel like I need to undo them.
Yeah. You extended your bump stops?
Yeah. So the rears are 80 series bump stops with extensions as well.
So there is a bit of Toyota on here then?
Yeah, that's it. There's the 80 series right there. And I've also got limiting straps, which you can probably see up there. So it stops the down travel and then the up travel on the bump stops to protect the shocks.
Okay.
So that cross brace there is a tower brace as well on the rear, and then the shackles are connected to that for the limiting straps.
Just in here.
Yeah, that's them.
These airbags,
Yep.
how much air do you roll in them and do you feel you need them?
I don't need them, which I thought I did just with the canopy going off, but I can put about 40 PSI on them with the canopy on and it sits quite flat and then it comes off because they're meant to be a soft air spring. I forget what the actual constant load was, but it was designed for just a tray back, and then when the canopy goes on, use the airbags to compensate, but it doesn't drop that much. And the front end's the same, that's got extended bump stops to protect the shocks. Also the shock towers have been raised because 10 inches in the front, 12 inches in the rear of shock travel. So the raised towers just keeps things tucked up so I don't have a whole lot of droop, but still have a lot of up travel.
Okay.
Yeah, it's set up pretty good. I like the way it sort of flexes and stuff.
Regards to actual suspension lift,
It's sitting at 4 inches.
front and rear,
Yeah, front and rear 4 inches.
on Kings shocks.
Yeah, so the King's 2.5 remote res shocks, got 20 clicks of adjustment as well for the rebound and compression.
How many clicks?
20?
20.
Yeah,
Okay.
so quite a few. All the coils are Dobson, and yeah, that's pretty much it, suspension.
We're talking donuts now, black donuts. I actually thought this was a 37-inch tyre,
Yeah.
but I just realised you got 15-inch rims. That's
Yeah,
why.
so they're 35s, they look fat.
What tyre is this even?
Alaska's Crocodile, Chinese brand,
Aha.
which I've run for a while now, just because they're cheap, because I just go through them like no tomorrow.
How do you find them?
They're really good, like they're actually a good tyre, but they're soft, so they're soft and they're
So wear
grippy,
quick.
but they just don't last long. Like you could peel rubber off with your
Yeah,
finger.
these will wear like mad, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're very
But
soft.
they're really good off-road, good sidewall, strong, heaps of bite in the side, and yeah, always run them.
So how many sets have you gone through?
It's probably my third set, so I have the 6, so 2 go to a spare, the best ones, usually the fronts, because the back are toast, and then get a whole new 4,
Okay.
every sort of 6 months.
So how many Ks would you normally get out of a set before you retire them to the back?
Probably, I can get it maybe 50,000 Ks.
That's not
So,
bad.
Yeah, and that's taking them to the limit. And
Oh,
it's,
okay.
it's not a daily either, so this is weekender.
So 50,000 is taking it right down.
Yeah,
All
so like if it was, I used to run Kumos and I sold them a bit
Mm.
earlier at like 25, 30,000 when they're like a half, 50% mud tyre, get some money back, but these I just run them to the ground and then get a new set because
Okay.
they're just so cheap. So these rims they're fuel lethal. Now I got these a long time ago, probably 2 or 3 years ago, and I imported them from America and they had to get all dimensions for the stud pattern and drill out the hub and everything for me, but these days you can get them at most shops now, these fuel rooms for patrols and cruisers and that, but yeah, I was sort of one of the first to get them in the country and yeah, run them ever since. So they're a 15 by 8.5 aluminium rim. The 15's just so I can have a lot more sidewall.
Tyre PSI, sand?
Usually 20 in the rear and 15 in the front, just because of the weight. So
Okay.
they bag at the back, and then the front, they don't need so much out to bag.
What about rocky stuff?
About 25 I start at.
25,
25 PSI, yeah, same balance, about 5 PSI difference.
Yep.
And then on roads, just 40 all round.
Okay, so you don't do the difference on the road?
No, not really. I find it's probably a bit too stiff in the front, but just helps with economy and stuff. So.
Gravel roads?
Went across the Great Central Road corrugations, yeah, around 25s, you know, 25 to 30. Just enough to take the bumps out and stop the shuddering.
So you'd rate this tyre to people then?
Yeah, I would, yeah. I don't know where you can get them. I've just got a guy I know. He does them sort of on the side, a little side hustle. So I get them cheap from him, but yeah, I'm sure you can get them through different businesses out there.
We're now going to look at the canopy. Before we open it, you want to tell us about it?
Yeah, so made this thing from scratch. So whole theme, built not bought. And the reason I've done that is because of the tray. If you actually look up where that headboard is, it follows perfect line. I just really wanted that nice flow to come through. So knocked it up out of aluminium. A good friend of mine, Josh Churchy, he can weld with the TIG. So he got involved with the build at that stage. And we made the frame, and then my dad's work's got a big guillotine bender to bend up all the panels. Glued it on, painted it, big piano hinge across the top, and that's sort of what we're left with. And I use these flush locks as well, because I like everything to be quite sleek and flush, so whack them on and it's lockable.
Let's have a look.
So inside, this is the business side.
The setup.
Yep. So this is sort of kitchen where you sort of live out of. Awnings on this side, sorry, so when that's set up, it's all sort of where I'm based. Really, it's quite squashed compared to most, so it's a lower canopy. But for what I'm doing, it's all, like I said, it's all about keeping the weight down low. So the things in here are only for like living kind of stuff, where a lot of the other stuff sits outside of the car and down low. You'll
probably find that if this was your, traditional high canopy, you wouldn't be using the top part anyway.
Well, that's right. Yeah. You'd have some sort of drawer to slide in or something up the top.
Is this the side do we cooking and everything on, or?
Yeah. So when the table's out, there's cooking. So on this side, I've got there's gas line. And then the water. So the water tanks I'll show on the other side, it's just gravity fed. And then gas bottle goes straight into a cooker on the table. Drawers, that's me cooking drawer, or me living. Knives and forks. Oh, Four Wheeling Australia merchandise from the show. So yeah, pots and pans, twin burners in there, all the utensils and stuff.
That's a bit outdated too,
That's the West Australia one, isn't it?
New ones, mate.
Yeah. So I haven't been camping since the show you gave me. That's been that long. I only got the car running the other day. So yeah, that's where that stuff stays. So they're just the Titan drawers, cheap but really good. I find they're quite solid.
All utensils, everything you need fits in this drawer.
Pretty much. So camera bag on top, clothes and stuff in this one. Then that's got wipes and all sorts of bits. So I just keep in a container, because when you're out, when you're about to cook, what's that? I find it easier just to bring it out and put it on the table or underneath the table, and then you've got bits and pieces in there. So that ammo case is the spare parts box.
Oh, one case, sorry.
So yeah, we can get a shot of that, and it's just got my essentials that I think when it goes to remote touring. Like, I got a spare alternator. When I had the auto, it was a spare starter motor. Got spark plugs, coil packs, just tools, wiring, bits and pieces. This is the toolbox. So I keep tools in here. It's just got drill bits, grinder. So it's all battery operated stuff, a couple of
all electrical stuff,
pliers and stuff, yeah. So electrical on that side, behind the fridge, is the fuse box. So there's electrical stuff in there. So it's just an assortment of connectors and a couple of relays, bits and pieces. This is my camera gear drawer. So whenever I'm out filming, doing stuff for the channel, just all lives in here. So it's sort of a clean drawer. A couple of cases, gimbals, cameras, GoPros, drones, all live in here.
Nice.
And then there's a hitch at the back, drop down tow ball. So when there's not a D-shackle in the reese hitch, that's the tow ball there for towing trailers.
Off-road first aid kit.
Yep, that's Velcro down, but essentials when you're in the bush.
Nice.
First aid kit's always there, easy to get to.
Just move the box for a sec. You got some structure going on here. That's what we were referring to when we were talking about your wheels, how they're mounted.
Yeah.
So because this is all aluminium, you've got that just to mount the tyres, or?
Yeah, because the weight of the tyres, they're 35s, and this is all aluminium, so it's to keep the weight down. So that's a dual purpose thing. So it acts to give strength for the tyres as a sandwich plate.
And the tent as well?
Also, helps the weight of the tent. And acts as a roll bar. If it rolls over, you've got the tray is steel there, and then you've got these two steel bars, just might help keep things together.
Okay.
But I've designed it so the tyres sit on the tray, so the weight isn't on them, but it's more or less, if it jacks off, it can hold it and not,
it's pinned
not
to
bend.
it. Corrugations won't crack the canopy.
Another issue we came in was with mounting that tent, because the tent's with the awning is about 100 kilos up there. So I've had to add in these bigger plates and do a similar thing, like kind of sandwich it within the runners to keep that on there. So
Okay.
yeah, it's sort of a compromise between strength and weight going on here. So in hindsight, I might have done a little bit thicker, but it's held together so far.
So a lot of backyard engineering going on.
That's it, yeah, trial and error. But it's a very light canopy. We could just lift it off with 2 blokes when we put it on.
Party lights.
Yeah, do they work? It must be, I think it's there.
Where? I'm not pointing at it. Oh, there we go.
So there's party lights outside, so that's all hooked in, and then internal lights. I've actually used rock lights for them, believe it or not.
Oh, where's that?
So the light down lights.
Oh, those.
So we'll get a shot, but this switch panel here, everything that's to do with the canopies in here, so it's all labelled, switches, starting with the USB charger on the end. Fridge and freezer have their own switches, so they can turn on and off. Side lights, so they are for actual spotlights on the roof that we were talking about before, that I could put on. And then inside lights, and then the ones on the door, and then door on the other side. So it's all there ready to go, and the whole thing can be undone.
Ah, you love your wing nuts, don't you?
It's quick access. And all the relays are in there as well.
Nice.
So it's all kind of plumbed in. It's
Okay.
hard to see, but the relays are on the back side here.
Yeah.
So the whole panel is just ready to go.
Very neat.
Find that wing nut.
Yeah. Question you are going to get, or I'm going to get, or Channel's going to get, is where to get this box from. And
So this box is from Bunnings, and it's a money safe. And I just cut the door out, and this panel was straight off the
money
net.
safe. Yeah, right.
Yeah, money box. So it's a money box, and this panel was off eBay. If you type in switches, switch panel, it should come up.
Yeah, I think
it's
I've
got
seen that
cigarette
before,
lighters
yeah.
and stuff. It's just because I was running out of time, so I just used that someone to do it. More panel stuff going on. So there's a little fuse box there, and it all lights up if there's a fuse that's blown. There's a 1000-watt inverter for your 240-volt power. Right down the side, there's a BCDC charger that takes care of charging with the solar and also the engine and the alternator. There's a master switch back there as well, so I can turn this big red dial and it just cuts all power in the canopy. So when I take it off, it just disconnects the battery. So I run a fridge and a freezer. So this one's a dedicated fridge and it's a Ridge Rider. I actually looked on the market for a long time for something like this. And the reason being, small canopy, I didn't actually have any room for a drop down or a fridge slide. So this has actually got a built-in drawer, which is just meant for something like a canopy. So you can get in for those quick access things, and there's these little doors at the top, so you can put food in the top, and it can potentially, you can get access from there, or just lift it up. So this is more longer life stuff, like a big thing of milk, and then you have a smaller container in here.
Okay.
But I find when you're on the road, pretty much you can fit anything you need in here anyway. So it's quite good.
Does it insulate pretty well?
Yeah, I find it really good.
How many litres?
I think it's about, quote me if it's wrong, but about 60, I think it is.
Okay.
But yeah, they do 2 versions, so they have a full version where the whole thing's a fridge, and then they do the one with the drawer. So, but yeah, quite good insulation.
Other side, you got a freezer over there, don't you?
Yeah.
What is that?
This is me trusty chair. It's a moon chair, and I've had it since 2015. It's been all over Australia, and I refuse to get rid of it. It's falling apart, but I love it.
That explains why it's so big.
Yeah, it's a moon chair. So this is sort of the less businessy side of the canopy, just where I keep things that I don't need to access quickly. So freezer, so it's just a 50-litre Waco. So that's always in there for the frozen stuff.
Do you have party ice with you? Because that's a lot of freezer.
A what?
Party ice.
What's that?
Party ice.
Party ice?
Yeah. Ice blocks, bag. Ice bag.
Party ice?
Yeah.
I don't know you call it that. I don't have ice blocks in there. Because I don't drink a lot. Water tanks as well. So they're 220, so 40 litres just sitting there.
I hope you weren't thinking I was referring to something else.
I don't know what you're talking about. Party ice.
Ice blocks.
Oh, the ones, the like lolly ones.
No.
To cool yourself. I have them in there.
No. You go to a survey, you get like the party ice bag. Ice bags. Party ice.
Who wants that knows what he's talking about. He doesn't know.
You don't know what I'm talking about?
So it's like ice blocks. Actual ice blocks.
Yeah.
For putting in a drink.
Party ice.
I don't know, it's called party ice. It's called frozen water, if you ask me.
Frozen water. No, you know, like the round ones with the holes in the middle.
No, I didn't know.
Party ice.
Never
You go to a
seen it.
survey.
Never seen it.
3 bags for like $9.
For real.
Yeah,
Bag of ice, yeah. Oh, bag of ice?
Yeah.
No, it's a freezer. I don't
Yeah,
need
I
ice.
know, but you chuck it in there and you got ice, right?
No.
For your drink when you're out in the middle of nowhere. Because you got 50 litres.
Yeah, true.
That's
true.
what I'm angling
It's a good
at.
idea.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
I haven't. I learned something new.
Speaking of water, that's not frozen.
Yeah.
How many litres we got here?
Yeah, so 40 litres. Now this
in
water.
20?
20 and 20, yeah. So each of these just used for like dishes and cleaning, washing. I don't really drink out of them. So it's all the stuff that takes a lot of water, and then I just have a few 600ml bottles with me just for drinking, usually.
Okay.
And
you could freeze those and then you get ice box.
Oh, real? Yeah. Put them in your drink. There's gas bottle as well. Way too big, but it's what I had sitting at home. So that's like, I've never filled it up, but I always just chuck it in when I go camping, whack it out when I get home. And then fire extinguisher, which I always stress with everyone.
You are set up to go fair distance with food. Your water though, because you got any more water in the vehicle? Is there any water under the...
No.
Okay. So how long do you normally go away for? Like
I've done 2 weeks before on that, and it hasn't been too bad.
Have you had to refill anywhere or?
Nah, well, I think we did, but to be honest, they never really got that empty.
Okay.
I guess I don't use that much water because it's just when I do washing, I'm very like conservative with water.
Yeah,
like,
well, you have to be when you
boil a whole lot and do a whole lot of dishes with a little bit of water. And like I say, it's not for drinking, so I will just take 2 of those 600ml bottles. So we've got like 40 bottles of water with us.
Okay.
And that's enough for drinking. What are you eating?
You want?
Hold on, I got mine here. Something I prepared earlier. Right.
You know what people hate when they watch videos? People talking when they're eating.
Yeah, so let's not do that.
Right.
Does it feel a bit claustrophobic in here?
No, not really.
Not too bad.
Where shall we start? Should we just work our way from the top and go down?
We should start with the whole interior itself. So the utes never had these interiors. So this whole interior is out of a wagon, a Series 4 patrol wagon. So gutted the whole thing, and it's got a brand new dash, new door skins, new floor, new center console, new seats, everything. So the whole thing used to be this brown color. So that's essentially the bulk of it. And then, yeah, finer detail from there.
The door trims, everything.
Yeah, everything. So I've converted it to electric windows. They used to be windows, so I've added electric windows, added central locking. Center console. I used to have a bench seat in here. So these seats are XR6 seats out of a Falcon.
Okay.
And yeah, added the center console in to go in with the manual.
Holden motor, forward seats.
Yeah,
what's going
bit
on
of everything. What's Toyota on this? Wait, nothing.
Ouch.
I don't think there is actually. So the rears are 80 series bump stops with extensions as well. Fronts,
So there is a bit of Toyota on here then?
yeah, that's it. There's the 80 series right there. All the dash and that's been integrated in. All the stalks had to be wired and matched up, so there was a lot of wiring that happened. The aircon's a different setup as well, so these are digital switches and stuff, whereas normally they got
Dials and levers.
So had to get rid of levers, install these servo motors to translate from the digital, and the servo motor moves the flaps and stuff, so that's all been done under there.
Right, so that's all the standard stuff from another car put into this car to get it to where it is.
Yeah, pretty much just an upgrade to make it feel more luxurious.
Cool job, man. Neat job.
Yeah.
What's going on here? Because this is...
Not factory.
Yeah, that's not factory, but that's like, what is this? This fault code.
So, well, Parrot Asteroid Smart's a touchscreen head unit that I put in there, and I've put it in the slot where an old GPS unit was. And yeah, so this app is Talk App Pro, which I mainly run it for my diagnostics, fault codes and all that can be run on here. And this also doubles as my stereo as well. So that's where the music and that gets taken care of. Because where the old stereo was, I've actually put an iPad in there. So this iPad is what runs apps, like I've got Hammer on here. So this is like a full-time off-road maps unit. So I can see diagnostics and then off-road maps here. This has also got on-road maps. So I can have 2 different GPSs going as well.
Oh, wow. That's cool. So an iPad you got in here.
Yep. Let's see where we are.
So how have you fixed that in?
Glue, to be honest. People ask me all the time, but there's that thin and narrow. Once this panel comes out and clicks out, bit of silicon there, bit of silicon there, and then a full-time plug, so when the ignition turns on, it starts charging.
That's cool.
And it just sits there just enough so I can reach the button to push back, and then the lock screen, you can just, you know, lock it like this and off she goes like that. So
Okay.
it's really good, yeah.
How did you come up with that idea?
I've always run iPads for navigation from day dot, and they've always been sitting on the windscreen. And I just hate having a whole lot
Take
on
up
my
so much
windscreen,
room,
just all sorts of screens everywhere. And I always had this in the back of my mind with the Series 4. I knew they had a big space there. And just, yeah, I sat it up there one day and I was like, geez, that looks perfect. Like, it just fit the screen.
Just do it.
So I just did it, glued it in there, and that's how it stayed. And
Awesome.
people love it. Got all the digital gauges for the aircon as well. I've added in a temperature, so there's 2 different sensors in the engine. So there's one for engine and one for gearbox. The reason I got this over other gauges is this doubles as an alarm. So it'll start beeping at me at 110 degrees if I forget to turn the fans off. And then the Uniden it's got the repeat function as well, so you can hear.
Yeah, I just have to do a bit of correction with the lining, I guess.
Stuff like that. So that's a really good unit as well.
How do you find the Unison?
Yeah, really good. This is the one I took to Cape York, and I've used it ever since then.
Okay.
As I mentioned outside, played around with different aerials, but this unit itself, really good.
Got some switches down
Yeah,
here.
so down there, if we can see it, on the right, this is the fans we were talking about. So all the way up's ECU, center is off, and down is on, so you'll hear them come on. So that'll run the fans. Sub-tank button, and then this is my switch for my dual battery, so it locks them together if I want to jump start the car. That's what that does.
Do you pair them when you winch? Or is it a momentary switch, that one?
No, I can pair them for the winch, but the winch does come off the main battery, not the auxiliary, but it just does help it. And then, yeah, this is the in-out for the winch when I want to use that.
Okay, but you can override by putting the cable in as you showed before,
Yeah,
right?
use the wireless, put the plug in, there's all different options, but this just taps into it, so it doesn't replace what's already there.
Yeah.
Chargers for camera gear, so that's just a switch to turn them on. So you've got USB, so there's 4 outlets there to charge phones and cameras and all that.
Behind the seat, there's a lot of stuff going on.
Yep, that's
what we were talking about when we were looking in the engine bay.
yeah, so all the 12 volts there, that's a full panel that I built outside the car, dropped it in and pretty much plugged it in. So essentially it's main battery, auxiliary battery. They've both got voltage gauges under them, and this runs everything from ECU to fuel pump right through to like all the auxiliary stuff like lights and stuff come through here. There's a sub box behind there, 12-inch sub. There's an amp on this side.
Okay.
Whole stack of relays. This is relays for lockers, fuel pump, ECU and stuff like that. But yeah, it's all, when the seats come forward, it's all sort of accessible to just manage things, and it keeps it off the ground, away from water and stuff like that, out of the dust. Just being a ute, it's such a small space, but you've got to pack so much in, so it's all about just utilising every space. So roof console, just on this side, is the red arc gauge for the battery. So it's got both battery voltages that I can see. And then switches, if I remember, I think it's just reverse light, spotties, spare, front locker, rear locker, and then internal lights. So that's just LED strip.
Okay.
And yeah, gauges there, just boost, pressure and water temp. So oil pressure, and then boost for the blower.
Whoa, Q&A with Sam EYLES.
Hi guys, Sam here.
We got the phones on the table because I've asked on Instagram, what should I ask Sam?
If the reception works out here, but
It's a bit on and off, so I'll just ask the normal questions first.
yeah,
Actually, the first question, I got to run to my fridge.
you need a beer.
Well, yeah, I need a
Traditional,
beer
something I prepared earlier. I got
or
you
a
something.
water or a Coke or something. Oh,
And
nice.
I'll get you something to stick it in.
I'm glad you didn't give me the other one.
Bush chook.
Awesome. I haven't actually tried this one yet.
Yeah, it's a local
I
brewery.
tried the
No,
BPA,
pale ale.
not the NBT. Build these stubby holders? Or
I
you
did,
buy 'em?
yeah, I sewed them up myself.
Sewed, not bought.
Sewed, not bought. Cheers.
Cheers, mate.
Let's do it. Ask me quickly before this goes to my head and I start saying silly things.
Oh, that is nice, actually.
Is it? Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
The
not
bush
that one.
chook.
The bush chook. So, Sam,
Yeah.
let's just get the standard questions out of the way first. Top 3 mods on your patrol.
On my car specifically,
Mhm.
one would be my exhaust system. because of the way it looks and the way it sounds. I love it. One of the best things I've ever done to it. Second would be the rooftop tent, because it just finished the thing off nicely, and it's what I can do in it, and it's just changed the way I go camping. How quickly it sets up, the kind of sleeps I get on the bush now, it's just amazing. The other one would be, it's got to be the supercharger, which I guess goes hand in hand with the conversion itself. Just, yeah, I've always wanted a supercharger since I was a kid, and dream come true.
Second patrol?
Yep.
It is your second one?
Yeah, yeah.
So the wagon beforehand, is that what you had immediately before this vehicle?
Yeah, in a four-wheel drive sense. Had a lot of cars in between, but my first four-wheel drive was that wagon when it was standard. Did the conversion on that, sold that, bought this. So that was over sort of a 5-year period since I started getting into the industry, I guess you could say.
Okay. So if you couldn't own a patrol,
Yeah.
what would you get?
Four-wheel drive sense, probably like a Jeep Wrangler, to be honest.
That surprised me.
Yeah,
A Jeep Wrangler.
because I remember when I was a real young kid, I just loved the look of them. Just lifted, no roof. Yeah, just, I don't know, down the beach.
They do go pretty damn well on obstacles.
And they're petrol. I must just have a thing against diesels, eh? Yeah.
Your previous patrol, that was a diesel though, wasn't it?
For like 6 months, and then, yeah, LS1. Got rid of that, straight in the bin.
So it was a 3 litre.
It was a
LS1.
2.8, that one, actually. And then, yeah, we
Oh,
just
like
went
the,
LS1.
yeah, Series 1.
Yeah, it was old 98 model. Gutless.
The straight 6.
Yeah, yeah. Sounded good, but yeah, 2.8 litre.
Favourite two-wheel drive?
I am petrol head, so it'd be like a 72 HQ Monaro. My dream car. Very rare car, but the 2 doors, love one of them.
Nice. Yeah, they are pretty damn nice cars.
Yep.
About the only Holden I kind of like.
Yeah, yeah, right, yeah.
Four-wheel drive. Bought, not built.
I feel like it's something that doesn't exist yet, which is an electric four-wheel drive.
Okay.
I
You
would-
seen the Rivian?
I haven't looked into it in detail, but I feel like game changer would be an electric four-wheel drive that has individual motors per wheel, so you could turn one at a time. Instant torque, solid solar panels, keep the thing running. Like, I feel like that'd be no budget, just build something like that.
And then crank the noise, engine noise through the stereo?
Yeah, I'd have to just make some sort of noise for it. But yeah, no, other than that, like, I don't know. That is like my dream car. I'll just do more to that. Yeah.
What's more fun to drive, your comp truck or this one?
Probably this one, eh? And I do want to do some comps in this, and it's just for the power and the noise it makes. Whereas if I had this motor in the comp truck, I'd probably say the comp truck because of how capable it is. But yeah, this is just, it's fun anyway. Beach, four-wheel drive, and even on the road, it's comfortable.
Favourite terrain?
Beach for sure.
Beach just does it for you? right?
Yeah, dunes, all of that. It's just so
Oh, yeah,
wide open.
Of course, with the petrol.
Yeah, just the petrol, yeah.
And on this iPhone, I have Instagram. We got some questions here. Silliest mistake made during the build?
So, silliest mistake was when I bought the new engine for it, the 6 litre, came out of a wrecked car, got it home, was filming an episode, pulled all the heads off, flipped it over to take the sump off. As soon as I turn it over, all the oil just goes all over the shed floor because I didn't drain the oil because I was just, I don't know, it was a silly assumption I had, like when the engine's sitting at a wreckers and they've taken it out of a car, they drained all the fluids and all that.
Okay.
But I just completely forgot that and it just went all over the floor, on the workshop floor. So that was pretty silly.
That would have been a mission to clean up.
Yeah,
Asking for a drag race, yeah, no.
we can. Maybe on a rig rundown video on your car, eh?
Maybe on...
Tee that up.
Oh, yeah, you could do that. Yeah, I reckon we should do that.
That's the 100-metre sprint, so it's sort of a drag race.
Yeah, in a controlled environment.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Why with the LS motor?
Why
I think
the
you
LS?
kind of answered that, but just answer it anyway.
I know, I say it a lot, and it's, you know, my background, muscle cars, I just like V8s, and I'm a petrol head. Like, to be honest, I don't know a lot about diesels. Like, I couldn't tune one myself. Like, I understand how they work, but I just understand them like the back of my hand, the petrol. So it's just how I've grown up and just stuck with it.
Why not a Land Cruiser?
There's no real reason. Like, you got to go one way or the other. I could have built a cruiser, and then people say, why not a patrol? But my first car was a patrol, and I just know them so well, and I just stuck with it. But I'll build an 80 series one day, I'm sure, and do that side of things. But
Okay.
yeah, I just like the look of them initially, I guess, and they were slightly cheaper at the time, and when I could afford it, and I guess I just fell
A lot
into the Nissan
cheaper.
pocket. Yeah,
A lot
that's it.
cheaper.
Toyotas are expensive. So.
Another question.
Yep.
Is there anything you regret adding to the current build?
I guess a regret is the bump stops in a way. I would have gone hydraulic bump stops straight up. I feel like the way I drive it, and the comfort level, it would have just been a lot nicer with a hydraulic bump. But that can happen down the road, I'm sure. But other than that, like I said, I built it the way I wanted it from the start, so I thought they'd be perfect, but yeah, it's a little bit harsh when it comes down to it, so yeah.
Worst part about your Patrol?
The worst part about it? Geez, I don't know. The fuel economy. 25 litres per 100, and it's 98 fuel, fairly expensive, and it just, yeah, it chews it.
Okay.
So, but it's a compromise.
Best thing about the Patrol?
Probably just the sound it makes and the power delivery. It's a very good power curve. If anyone drives it, they'll just feel the instant torque and it just keeps pulling and pulling.
Okay.
So it's just, yeah, the whole package really.
Where to next with your channel?
With the channel, like I've done my build now. This was kind of a bigger budget thing. It's not something I can keep doing. So now that it's finished, I really want to sort of showcase other people's builds. So like I'm doing my rig rundown series, just chasing big builds around the country. And then when it comes to doing more build videos, I really want to bring it down to like the budget stuff so people can really relate to it. Give myself a budget, build a tour and go do some challenges or something like that. And then I've got a lot of plans, like it's 2019 now, and later in the year I've got a lot of plans with the four-wheel drive shows. I'm running my own show around the country as well, in line with the four-wheel drive show guys. So
that's to show your dirt, right?
Yeah, show your dirt. So that'll be going around in Sydney, Adelaide and Perth. And then there's talks of me heading over to Queensland in early 2020 and doing some stuff over there for a bit. So
nice.
Yeah, just taking advantage of the whole country really, not just keeping myself in WA. So I want to get over there and do some stuff.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Exciting times then.
Yeah, yeah. And another big thing for me is the comp scene. I've got the comp truck now, and I feel like a lot of the influencers and YouTubers and that do the touring stuff don't do the other side of the sport, which is the racing. So I really want to try and bring that off-road scene to the mainstream and show guys like how exciting that is. So hopefully the comp truck will get people involved with that, and I can get more involved with that sport and try and get things, you know.
It is a popular sport, but there's not many people promoting it, and
it's a hard thing.
And I feel that the guys running these shows, nothing like, I'm not saying anything bad about them, I'm just saying they seem to be stuck in the old way of marketing, and so I think that's probably a good thing.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there. It's really the kind of nature of the sport. The series are quite remote, so like you have to go quite far to do it. So the only people that do go are friends and family, and the only way it's going to get back to the mainstream is through media
or club members and
stuff as well that go. Yeah, but it's just getting it back, and obviously the series need to have a budget to get a media package back to shoot it and stuff like that. So it's really just hopefully I can get in there and try and do some stuff for people and get it out there. So
that's probably a good lifeline for them, because people that do video commercially, they charge, as you know, through the nose. Yeah. Whereas if you get like YouTubers,
do it a bit cheaper, just to try and help.
They get content, you still got to make money at the end of the day, but it'd be far more cost effective.
Yeah, definitely. And it's something I want to try and offer, see how people respond to it, like do the build stuff, but doing a more sort of commercial package where it comes to filming a series like that. We'll see how it goes. So.
Cool. Exciting times, mate.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks, heaps, for bringing the
100%
Patrol on.
Long time coming, you and me, for this.
Trying
to get it organised.
Yeah, when are you going to do it? When are you going to do it?
I know.
It's constant.
Yep.
Yeah. Should we just do one more?
Let's have a quick look on Instagram, interweb.
I like this one. What is it like to have the second best four-wheel drive in WA?
What's the first best? I love that. There's always something to aim for.
Right, ladies and gents, if you would like to know more, there is we'll put a link to your channel.
There's a door as well there.
There's a door, so we'll put a link to his channel over the door. Subscribe to Sam's channel, subscribe to mine up here if you haven't already. So if you are from Sam's channel and you're over here, hit the subscribe button. And there's another video down here with another Patrol in it. So thanks for watching, guys. Oh, we'll have a link up here as well for all the details on your build.
There'll be a playlist for the actual build on this one specifically, so yeah.
There you go, so if you want to get right into it, that's what you got to look at. Cheers, mate.
Take it easy. Peace.
Do you do boil backwards?
No, it's kind of, but it's too far away. I always have this issue.